Hello, everyone. Today's article is titled German Tourist Detained in the U.S. It tells the story of a young woman who entered the U.S. after a short trip to Mexico, but was detained by immigration officers who suspected her of planning to work illegally. Though she claimed she had no such intention, she ended up in jail and has remained there for over a month. This case raises tough questions about fairness, immigration policy, and whether authorities sometimes go too far. Before we jump into the details, let's pause and think more broadly. Immigration enforcement has always involved a fine balance, protecting borders while treating people fairly. But where do we draw the line between caution and overreaction? Let's explore. Today's main theme is law versus fairness at the border. Governments have the right to enforce immigration laws, but what happens when enforcement feels excessive or inhumane? In some cases, suspicion alone seems to justify arrest and detention. This raises a key issue. Should policy leave room for human judgment or follow strict rules no matter what? Have you ever seen or experienced a situation where someone was treated unfairly just because they were a foreigner? How should immigration officers balance caution and compassion? I once saw a tourist being questioned for hours just because he looked nervous. He didn't speak the local language and couldn't explain himself well. While I understand the need for security, the officers never seemed interested in understanding his situation. They just assumed he was hiding something. In the case of the German tourist, I think holding someone in jail for weeks without clear evidence is too extreme. Even if she made a mistake, she should have been allowed to leave, not kept in detention. Immigration officers should act with caution, but also with flexibility and fairness. Now, to understand this article better, we need to familiarize ourselves with key vocabulary. We'll go over 3 important expressions, learn their meanings, and see them in action with example sentences. Let's begin with the verb acknowledge. To acknowledge something means to admit or accept that it's true. It's often used when someone reluctantly agrees to a fact or accusation. In the article, Jessica acknowledged that she was a tattoo artist, but denied she planned to work in the U.S. Here's an example. He acknowledged that he had made a mistake, but said it wasn't intentional. Next is the noun grounds. Grounds refers to a reason or justification for something, especially in legal or official situations. In the article, officers said that carrying tattoo tools gave them sufficient grounds to suspect illegal work. Here's an example. The police had no legal grounds to search his apartment. Last, we have the expression out of proportion. This means that a response or action is excessive compared to the actual situation. It's used to describe something that's blown out of scale. In the article, many believe that jailing a tourist for possibly intending to work is completely out of proportion. Here's an example. His angry reaction was totally out of proportion to such a small mistake. Now that we've explored the main themes and vocabulary, let's reinforce our understanding with a summary dictation exercise. Listen carefully and fill in the blanks. A German tourist tried to cross from Mexico into the U.S., but officers noticed she was carrying tattooing equipment. They believed she planned to work, so they locked her up. The woman had an air ticket to fly back to Germany, but she couldn't use it because she was in jail on the flight date. People shouldn't work illegally in another country, but many are asking why officers didn't just let her go back to Mexico, or let her use her ticket and fly home, rather than keeping her in detention. Let's check the answers and review what each word means. The first answer is plan to. This refers to the authorities' belief that Jessica intended to work in the U.S., even if she didn't actually do it. The second answer is locked her up. This means that the officers placed her in jail or detention, taking away her freedom of movement. The third answer is in jail. This refers to Jessica's actual status on the day of her flight. She was physically in custody and couldn't travel. The fourth answer is illegally. This means working without proper legal permission, such as without a work visa. The last answer is detention. This is a formal term used when someone is officially held by authorities, especially in immigration cases. Great job today. We unpacked the story of a German tourist who faced detention at the U.S. border and discussed how immigration policies are enforced. You also learned key expressions like acknowledge, grounds, and out of proportion to help describe complex legal and ethical issues. Here's something to think about before our next class. Why do you think immigration officers didn't just let Jessica walk back into Mexico? Is it about international policy, legal technicalities, or something else? We'll begin next time by hearing your ideas. Until then, stay curious and keep asking questions.